All right, hello everyone. So today we've got Wednesday. Now remember we had a good swing on a Monday, and yesterday we predicted that price high, as you know, 2,140. Market just above that crashed down, and that was a good sell-off. So it's already giving us signs that this is a good resistance zone, and that we might kind of like participate. Now the market is still up, but as you can see, we've entered a range now, okay, going sideways. So I just posted the Astro Hours like a few minutes ago. And just as I was doing it, I realized that this was a nice Astro Hour and the market was at the low. So this is like a good example for everyone. The market is low where they bought before in New York, right here in the lows. It's an Astro Hour. Market comes in, sweeps the stops here, and then goes up. Now this is a intraday small trade, as you can see. It's like it's like your daily bread and butter kind of trade. So the market should head up back into the high of this zone here, where you see we've got the daily pivot and the intraday volume control. So we should hit there. Now the beauty is the next Astro Hour is at 10:30, right? You can see on the members area. So two things can happen, and that 10:30 can take us, can like push us upwards into a place where they want to sell, okay? Or it can like kind of say, well, you know what? We did this silly move and now we're going to push it down and break everything. That's also a possibility because the aspect that's coming afterwards is a bit tricky. All right, it's a bit tricky. But in any case, as you can see, the trade is enough to cover itself. Actually, if I had put the stop loss just under there, I would have covered that trade as well. Okay, but I didn't think about that. I thought about the daily pivot and the high of the previous peak it did there. So that's how it is. Yeah, should have been a bit more careful on that one. So that's good lessons learned. This is why the target is up here. All right, so there's a gap there, as you can see, but I'm not really going to do anything with it until I see what's going on, because we're probably going to have a breakout. We're probably going to come up to here, and I just want to make sure I'm going to manage the trade until this Astro Hour, because if it does go in my direction, I want to trade with the hours. All right, so that's a practical lesson on how we can do stuff. So as you can see, the market is low. It's a good Astro Hour, and it was okay to get in. This is your 15-minute chart, and you can see my stop loss is really, really tight. You don't have to put it far away. Just under the low of the swing is okay. You can also do this if you want to go in the direction of the trend. You can draw your trend lines. Okay, for example, from here to there. Okay, so you can see why that's kind of selling off there. That's a resistance, which is fine. I anticipated that as well. Like I said, I should have put that, cover the trade just below, which would have been sufficient enough to cover one of the trades. Okay, so not a problem. If it breaks out, then it should go in our direction. Now, if you've learned technical analysis from me, you can also just do that. That should give you, okay, if it breaks out, this should give you a target of where to go. All right, so we should get into that zone, as you can see. All right. So with the gold, I think we're going to have to look for something in the New York session. Okay, I have put some hours at lunchtime as well. All right, but not lunchtime, in the afternoon. I've put some hours in the afternoon, which is just pre-New York and the New York morning session. And I think that's what we want to trade and not so much muck around. Because if you missed this hour, okay, if you haven't done financial astrology with me and you don't know anything, you're just looking for the hours in the members area, you've missed out on this one. Okay, so I would just wait for the New York session and do what you want to do. Have a good day, enjoy the rest of your day, and chill out. If you're in the US, then that's the hour you're going to be interested in anyway. So with gold, if the market does come back up into a zone at 355 to 445, sorry, for 440. So between, let's say, 4 and 440, right? That 40-minute is going to be important. And from 6 to 6:20 is going to be important as well. All right. So keep that in mind. And those hours are the times when you can actually look for trades from the highs and the lows. Obviously, use money management from 6 to 6:20. We might see a bit of a whipsaw. And if you're trading gold, I did say keep 7:30 p.m. my time on your radar. All right, because that's also an important hour. The market might want to turn a little later in gold, so be mindful for that one. All right, because the market is trending heavily upwards, right? So it may kind of like push and continue, and then that might be the limit for the day around 7:30 for gold. I'm talking, right? So I've made a note on the members area to just be mindful on that. Okay, so we still might go up and test those levels and then sell off. All right. In the interim, if you want to buy the lows to go up as well, like I said, it's okay if you're buying where they bought before, like in this zone, and so on. All right. Okie dokie. Now let's take a look at the euro dollar. This is the euro dollar. Now, yesterday I did say we might come to there and then kind of dip down, so we needed to be careful. And I did put these numbers up there from the daily and over monthly as well, right? 5106. You can see that's 1.0879, and that's the number I put there, and that was the daily. So I said we've got to be careful for this zone because here the market might sell. And if you're following, financial astrology, you're doing what we're doing, then from that zone you could have just looked for a sell setup with your stop loss just above there. As you can see, the stop loss would have been pretty close. All you had to do was just follow this and just sell it off. Now, remember, I did say I did give a target down here. I've made a post on it on Twitter yesterday, so the market can push into there. And I did say if it'll either stick around here or drift into the closing, and this is the closing, so it's stuck around here, as you can see. So with the euro dollar, we can still see the market pushing down maybe, because on the weekly, as you can see, we've got this pull back happening. Now, this is a bit tricky. Okay, so we could either go up and sell off, all right, so we got to be careful, or we can turn around here. Now, this is not a great setup. Okay, this is a PST breakout with a goodbye kiss, which says it might be a fake breakout, so we've got to be careful. At the end of the day, if you bought the goodbye kiss, if you're using your ATAM, that's 55, 1.0844, 1.0844 is there. All right, 1.0844, which is right there. All right, lower the day. So that's that. That's obviously not an astro hour. What is the astro hour? 540 here, which is there. All right. Now, this is not a great place to sell, obviously. Okay, first of all, it's the opening pivot. It's right under the daily pivot. This is the resistance zone, but you don't want to be mucking around against a goodbye kiss on a PST, which broke out on the daily and broke out on the weekly. All right, so you know what I say. If you have a PST breakout, do not stand in front of it. So I'd leave this alone and wait for proper hours. Now, proper hours means the astro hours, obviously. What you can do here is you can see the market pushed up. This is like a good impulse where if we dip back down, maybe you can go long again at astro hours. These were long at astro hours, and they were logical places to buy because, first of all, this was the previous day's lows as well. You see, it comes back, comes into the lows nice and easy, and takes off. And that's the kind of thing we want to see. I want to see the market at an astro hour at the lows so we can get in there, okay? Or want to see it at the highs so we can sell and, call it a day, that kind of stuff. So it just takes a bit of common sense. And if you have a breakout, don't stand in front of it. Try to buy the lows with a tight stop loss, and that's it. But if it breaks below this 0844, you have to be careful, because once we break through this weekly pivot, it's going to be a different ball game. And because of that, you might this then might be true. It might be a fake breakout. So then the market might kind of push down. Price wise, the breakdown and the breakup are both valid. All right. So we have to be careful. If you're trading euro dollar, just be mindful on that. Okay. Let's take a look at SP 500. I'll put it back again here. It's mostly during New York sessions or opening sessions that it freezes up. Other than that, it doesn't. Now, remember, I said once the market turns around, it might not give us a lot of entry opportunities, and it really hasn't. It just swayed all the way down, so not much to talk about, as you can see. Now, I did say Monday for indices is a swing day. If you took that opportunity, and I did say this is a good triangle, as you know from before. Okay, that's your triangle there. It's a ending wedge, as you can see. And I did say this is an ending triangle. It's worth, it's worth trying to go down with it. Okay. So if that's 4, 5, ending 1, 2, 3, we should get a dip. All right. We should, the market should kind of like do a retracement of some sorts, and this is a good sign. So selling again into the targets is not a bad idea. We've got 51, 50, 47. So you should be looking out for 51, 5,051, 40, and 24. So 5,051 is going to be here. 40 is going to be here. And 5,020, I think it was, is going to be there. All right, so those are the levels we want to be looking out for, just to double check. Yeah, 5,024. All right, 5,024. So there we go. So we've got room to come down. This is your Fibonacci. I'd like to sell again if it comes into the discount zone, which is going to be around the weekly pivot there. So that's not a bad place. If New York takes it up, you can sell it off, and that's fine. Okay. And that's basically it. So hopefully it'll give us an opportunity. If we do a good buy kiss, look out for 5,121. This 66 is a bit far out, 5,139, which is all the way back up here. All right, but I suspect we should be heading down for the rest of the week. Why? Because the SP 500 swing day, the next one, is today, right? So we should head down today, and then we can look for a reversal today from the lows. All right. So if the market comes down, all right, into these targets, then Thursday we can look to go up at any intraday retracement if that pans out. Okay. You can sell to go down to a target. On the weekly, we're already at a target. You got to mention this one, 5,056.53, which is already done. So if the market comes down to 56.53, that's your, which is your 56 is here, right? So between 56 and 51, guys, I'm just going to get rid of this Fibonacci extension. This zone can also be a place where the market might want to buy, because Wednesday is a swing day. So that will be like a dump, and then that will be like a pump, won't it? All right, so this zone we'll put into our radar. Okay, so that's not a bad idea. If you sold on Monday as well, you would have just, been laughing because the rest of the market had no idea. Remember, this was a swing hour right here. Bang. So beautiful. And you can see the market never came back. So anybody who bought here, they just trapped them out. Everybody just got trapped. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. If you're not using stop losses, if you're using your Astro hours, selling here with a tight stop loss would have been just fine. You can also go down to a smaller time frame and make your entries in the smaller time frame so you'll know your stop losses as well. It's not a problem. Right then, let's take a look at Dow Jones, Nasdaq, and Bitcoin. So with SP 500, the market can still push down. If in the New York morning session we find ourselves down here somewhere, the market might look to reverse from any of those PST levels I noted. So be mindful. Now this is Nasdaq, and this is once again, remember, Monday was a swing day. This was just awesome, right under the opening, bang it in all the way down, and that's just great. Now this, let's see. Now we still have a bit more targeting to go down here into this 45, which is 17,708. Okay, 17,708 and 739. 17,708, 739. 708 is there. 739 is there. So this zone, the market can dip down into. There was one more zone there. I think 709, 708, 739. 7342, about 40, 17523, 17523. It's a bit further down, but it's doable. So if the market sells down, okay, we should go into a place where the market might look to buy, because like I said, Wednesday for the indices is going to be a swing day. Okay, so that's that. Now then, let's take a look at Dow Jones. Same kind of thing here, guys, right nicely into the target zone there. It's already done it, and there you go. All right, so if you sold off, took your profit, well done. Now then, what are those levels on the daily? You see we've got 42, 41, 38, 38, 520, 462, 341. So 462, 520, let's add those in. 38, 462, 462 is all the way up there. Oh, so it's pretty much, it's done that one. Okay, so that's done. All right, so we've got 38 to look out for. 38, 341. Now we can get this 38, 341 down here. All right, so this zone, whoopsie daisy, well, around here anyway, all right, because the numbers are pretty close, so there. So this zone is also going to be a target. So from this zone here, you'd want to be also looking maybe to reverse upwards. You just have to wait for the right hours and the setup. And America, the New York session, the US New York session is going to be a bit tricky from 6 to 6:20. All right, so you got to be careful there, 6 to 6:20. And also, we're going to have a bit of a drama just after 4:30. All right, so that might be a bit tricky. So just be mindful. All right. There, Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. And that's your Bitcoin, as you can see, the market. Why have they done that? They probably swept everybody out. Okay, so on the weekly, there you go. So it's a big sell-off. Why? Because everybody's stop loss is up here. So they just swept everybody up nice and easy. As you can see, they're selling right off the PST. Right off the PST. And that's just beautiful trading. All right. So nice. Now it's done. Oh, look at that. What a whopper. It's done everything. It's done all the targets. That's fine. So as you can see, there are still buyers in there, but I always say don't buy the tops, because if you do, you might have to wait for a few years to get back up there. All right, so that's how it is. So this zone for me is a sell zone. If you want to sell the highs, you can. So for example, 66, 610 around there is okay. 66, 677, it's that one. That seems okay. So where they sold off yesterday, you can push down into these lower levels. On the daily, it's kind of like done everything. But remember on the weekly here, we still have that goodbye kiss zone at 74, 58, 50, which is the first place it might actually come to. So put something at 58,050. 58,050 is there. All right, so we've pretty much done it anyway. Okay, if you're using ATAM, you understand that those goodbye kisses are going to be important for you. So it still has a bit of room to do that. 58,058, you can just still dip down here. So be mindful here as well. Okay, just like they bought here, they might buy here again. But if this breaks down, then you know where you're going. Okay, that's it for today.